Hello students, thank you so much again and again for supporting by the help of your opinion through comments. I feel very much proud and I feel glad when I read your comments and your opinion. That's very important for me. Keep commenting. In our last lecture we talked about some of the Governor General, and today we will go ahead in the same context. So let's start without any disturbance. In our last lecture we talked about after Wellesley, Lord Hastings came to India. Okay, I want one rectification, students. In my yesterday's chart, by mistake I mentioned here L-O-A-R-D, Lord. That's absolutely incorrect. Actually it is L-O-R-D. Both are different words and meaning is highly different. I am very sorry. In a hurry, it's a typing mistake, so please accept my sorry. Now today we will go ahead about after Wellesley, then Lord Hastings, and then we will go for another point to be discussed here, that is in comparison to earlier Governor General. Now the next one, that is William Bentinck. Okay, now William Bentinck is known as Liberal Governor General. Now why liberal? Because William Bentinck thought that whatever imperialism means expansion of British province and the British kingdom, okay, that efforts create problem among the states. So William Bentinck is known as Liberal Governor General. Can be asked in exam. Important, Liberal Governor General. Okay. Now because of Bentinck believed that the dissatisfaction in different state, okay, William Bentinck believes what? That there is a great dissatisfaction in different state. Why? Because every governor general tried a level best to capture, okay, and due to imperialist policy, expansion policy adopted by the previous Governor General could not be bring out any unity. Bentinck want unity, but because of efforts done by other Governor General, okay, we can't expect unity among the states. Okay, so he was very liberal in his deeds. Okay, he not took any strict action. Okay, so now again we revise our chart. First Warren Hastings, then Cornwallis, then Sir John Shore, then Wellesley, then Lord Hastings, then William Bentinck, and now we move on Lord Dalhousie. So now our context is about Lord Dalhousie. Okay, now what are the work done by Dalhousie and what policy adopt? Okay, let's go ahead. Now Dalhousie came to India as Governor General in 1848. Again, here is important. Okay, he was fierce imperialist. Fierce means extreme. Imperialist means expansion of the British rule. So he believed that expansion of British rule required to be done maximum. He want to cover up each and every area of our country. Okay, so he was considered as fierce imperialist. Fierce means extreme. Imperialist means expansion. Okay, now Dalhousie adopted the policy of annexation for the expansion of the company and British imperialism in India. So he adopted the policy. What is the policy he adopted? That is annexation. Okay, so annexation means what? Annexation means takeover. Okay, the meaning of annexation, that is takeover. So here Dalhousie want to take over, clear, many areas. Okay, under various reason Dalhousie decide to go for annexation. Can be asked in exam. If a teacher like me, who famous for set tough paper, okay, would like to create questions from these kind of things where corner questions can be possible easily. Okay, so in that context we'll discuss each and every point. Okay, fine. So Dalhousie's policy of annexation by war. Now Dalhousie fought with Pepu, P-E-P-U, Pepu. Pepu means what? Okay, Pegu, that is Lower Burma. Okay, clear, and Punjab, clear. So these are the places, or these are the area where Dalhousie apply annexation by fight, by war. Okay, he directly declare war against them and capture. Clear? But not satisfied yet. Then he applied completely new, completely innovative way of capturing things. Dalhousie was considered as one of the most observative. Okay, he observed there are many king. Okay, clear? They die, but without heir. Okay, without heir means what? No successor. Like at so for example, if a king die, then the king's son become the ruler. Okay, but Dalhousie announced that those king dying without their successor, next generation, okay, we will capture them, and you cannot go for head up anybody. For example, if you have a king whose name is X, and X has no son, okay, and if X die, then the state has to be submitted to Britishers. They cannot say that we head up somebody and we will do like, no, nothing doing. You have to submit your state to East India Company. So which are the places lost in that situation and merged with British province? That is Satara, Jaipur, okay, Sambalpur, Udaipur, that is MP's Udaipur, okay, Jhansi, okay, Bhagat and Nagpur. These are those places merge. Okay, fine. Next, annexation on the pretext of mismanagement. Now there is another technique. Dalhousie talked to Awadh that you are not able to manage yourself. Okay, you are not able to manage properly. So your area we will manage. Chalo, give it to me. Then next, annexation on the pretext of debt collection. Debt means what? The money a particular state required to give to East India Company that they failed to give. I repeat, debt means here in that context that the Nizam required to pay amount to British East India Company, but they failed to pay. They are not able to pay. So under that rule, they annexed. But why Nizam failed to pay? If you remember subsidiary alliance system, here we learn that in return, what they have to do? They have to give equivalent income to British, or they have to provide province. Here they are not able to provide money. Okay, so that their province, that is annexed by Dalhousie. Next, annexation to end a namesake rule. Now, what is namesake rule? Namesake rule means such situation where maximum management done by Britishers, king available only by name. Means only name of the king, but majority management administrative work done by Britishers. So Britishers realized that if we are doing everything, then why we keep the head of the particular area as a king? So we would like to fully cover up that particular state, and they cover up by Karnataka and Tanjavur. Okay. Now, after annexation, okay, there are other things also happen in India. Let's go for that. Besides being an imperialist as I say, expansion policy, okay, Dalhousie was also reformist. Reformist means a person who want to change society, who want to remove wrong things from society, who want to change society in a positive way. So Dalhousie considered as reformist. Can be asked in exam. Important one. Dalhousie considered as reformist. Now he started the first railway line in India between Mumbai to Thane, 1853 AD. Number of time this particular sentence asked in exam. Please remember carefully. Okay, I want to show you the first Indian railway between Bombay to Thane, and here it is in front of you. This is the photograph of the first Indian railway from Bombay to Thane, 1853 AD. As you can able to see the structure, the layout, and the way how it was functioned. Okay, everything you can able to visualize in this particular video. Okay. Now, he not only start the railway but also start wireless system so that communication can be possible between India and England. Also establish public works department where the department will work for public, department work for people's welfare, department work for facility of the people. That is called public works department. Also go for English education, okay, because Dalhousie believed that if I start English education, then number of people who can communicate in English will increase. It will be helpful, okay, to administrate the work easily. And were all introduced during his tenure, his time period, all this reform done. and he passed law. See, he passed the law, child marriage and advocate widow remarriage. He was advocated, means what, in the favor of widow remarriage, and he banned child marriage. He opposed, okay, at a very small age in Indian ancient time or olden time of India, child marriage would prevail. That is, at very small age the marriage decide, okay, and then they go for. I am very sorry and I am very sad to say, students, that my observations and my calculations says that even India today also at very low scale these kind of things, child marriage, I think so, going on in some of the village. It's my opinion. I'm not sure to prove myself. I'm just sharing my opinion, and that's not okay. Okay, and that's why Dalhousie realized and he stopped this. Imagine in this era he banned child marriage, and he also introduced and advocate in the favor of widow remarriage. Now, within 100 years from the Battle of Plassey, that is 1757, the British rules and the empire means the whole control of India in that context, both expand. But in the process, they had to face dissatisfaction of Indian state. They cover up so many areas, so many places by so many policies, but it creates dissatisfaction among the people of these states and among the rulers of these particular states. Okay, so dissatisfaction of the Indian state, and this was manifested. It would create, it would prepare, it would expand, it would comes in a mind. It start manifested in the form of the first struggle for independence, that is 1857 AD. In your 8th standard, you learn somewhere 1857 revolt. Please mark properly, 1857 is considered as first struggle for independence. Why? Because from these 100 years, from 1757 up to 1857, so many states are not satisfied, and that dissatisfaction, deeply rooted revenge, okay, against Britishers, and that's reflect in 1857. So these are the things we can able to observe on the context of Dalhousie. Okay, now if our 9th standard students want me to revise all these points once again with a fast track revision, then you can comment me. Okay, we set the goal. If it is 50 comments comes on the video that please we want revision, then I definitely prepare one separate video for a fast track revision, where that video will be helpful to you to revise the lesson as fast as possible. Plus, you can also able to share your doubts to me. You can able to suggest something what you expect from me. Clear? I am always and highly waiting for your suggestions. And my next lecture, I try my level best to give you one surprise. Okay, surprise. I hope you mature to understand my sentence. Till then, please take care of yourself and goodbye.